very warm and pleasant good afternoon to one and all. Welcome to LawSikho's thorough newspaper analysis, which we are taking for the day, which is 11th of January 2024. Okay? Chalo. Now we'll start a one big announcement. Like we got a suggestion from few people that they are not able to understand Hindi. So record this particular TNA with English language. So for them, I just want to tell you that whatever statements I'm saying in Hindi, I'm repeating in English as well. But we'll try that the most of the portion of the TNA would record in English only. ठीक है चलो अब एडिटोरियल सेक्शन की तरफ चलते हैं जहां पे हम बात करेंगे कंप्लीट ट्रांसप्लांट प्रोसेस इन 6 to 8 weeks says Delhi High Court. What was the case which we have taken from the Indian Express? Then जो routine है उसी की तरह we'll be discussing about some news update and the legal news update. चलो. So Delhi High Court has prescribed an ideal time of 6 to 8 weeks for the complete process of transplanting organs from living donors. So what has happened that the complete transplant process in 6 to 8 weeks, Delhi High Court has directed. So there was a judgment passed on 4 January where Justice Pratibha M. Singh said that when delay for a significant time, it causes mental and physical anguish for donors, right? First is for donors, second for recipient and their families, and directed the ministry, that is the concerned ministry named Ministry of Health and Family Affairs, to ensure that timelines under transplantation of human organs and tissues 1994 are prescribed for all steps in the process of considering organ donation applications. ठीक है चलिए समझते हैं कि ये ट्रांसप्लांटेशन ऑफ ह्यूमन ऑर्गन्स एंड टिश्यूज एक्ट 1994 व्हाट डज दिस एक्ट सेज सो द लॉ गवर्न्स द ट्रांसप्लांटेशन ऑफ ह्यूमन ऑर्गन्स एंड टिश्यूज इन इंडिया including the donation of organs after death as well. So for both living and for the person who have died has been governed by this act. It lays down the governing rules and regulations for healthcare providers, for hospitals, and what are the penalties for violation. A transplant can be either from a pool of organs of deceased persons donated by their relative or from a living person who is known to be a recipient. Now, in most cases, the act allows living donations from close relatives, जैसे parents, siblings, children, spouses, grandparents, grandchildren. ठीक है? Living donations from close relative involving individuals or foreigners must be accompanied by document establishing their identities, what is their family tree, and pictures that prove the donor-recipient relationship. And donor and recipient are also interviewed. When the donations are from the unrelated persons, or from the persons who are very distant relative, a photographic evidence to prove their long-term association or friendship with their recipient is mandatory. Okay? And this particular examinations has been done by the external committee. Offering to pay for organs or supplying them for payment is a very hefty penalty with a particular punishment, 10 years, and a fine of up to ₹1 crore. Yaad rakhiyega, it's very important. The authorization committee plays a critical role in the transplantation process. Now comes the question, who is the authorization committee? Who gives the authorization? So the authorization committee oversees and approves organ transplant procedures involving donors and recipients who are not relatives. Okay. The approval is very crucial, especially in cases where organs are donated for reason of affection, attachment, or to ensure ethical compliance and prevent illegal practices. So now the composition of authorization committee shall be such which is prescribed by the central government from time to time, and it shall constitute the members that are nominated by the state government and the union territories. Now, the committee is expected to conduct an inquiry for reviewing the applications for transplant approval, and Section 24 allows the center to make rules subject to parliamentary approval. Now, there are some rules also which are attached to this particular act, which states that for the constitution of the authorization committee and the nature of inquiry and evaluation conducted. Okay, Now, Rule 7.3 says that the committee must ensure that there is no commercial transaction involved in case of donor and recipients are not near relatives. That means there is no buying or selling, or there is no monetary compensation that has been paid. Okay, for living donor transplantation, Rule 10 describes the application process which requires joint application by the donor and the recipient. ठीक है, चलिए. Now, there was an application that was being filed by the person who was diagnosed with a kidney failure in 2017. By 2019, two hospitals had advised them to get a kidney transplant. However, this application seeking approval for transplant was rejected by Army Hospital in New Delhi due to the non-availability of near relative. Okay. Now, after the petitioner was diagnosed with hypertension and chronic kidney failure at Sir Gangaram Hospital, the transplant was planned again, but there was no decision taken. And in 2020, the petitioner approached the High Court seeking the transplant and for direction of committee to grant approval. In 2021, the High Court directed the authorization committee to decide the petitioner's application within 2 weeks. But when the matter was heard again, the court was informed that the petitioner had passed away. So what happened during this whole case, from the authorization getting an approval, the petitioner, the patient passed away. And that's why the Delhi High Court has specifically directed to complete the transplant process in 6 to 8 weeks so that it does not cause a mental anguish to the relatives and the patient. And so that if there is a possibility and hope of recovering the patient can be done. Okay, so it's a very interesting editorial, but at the same time very heart-wrenching, where we are seeing that the person who was fighting for the kidney transplant approval passed away in the whole process of authorization. Correct? Now, what did the court decide and why? So, despite the petitioner passing, the court proceeded with the case. And but for counsel petitioner contended that there is no timeline for the committee to conduct interviews, which led to delay in deciding cases. If the committee indefinitely adjourns hearing without meeting donor, recipient, their family, the application remain undecided, causing prolonged suffering to the patient, as we decided. The court agreed, and the court decided that it should be the forms and the decision making should be done within fixed timeline, and it should not be expanded or elastic in manner. Such urgency, in fact, which requires a final decision to be taken within 24 hours of the meeting, the court said. Okay. Now, it suggested that after 4 to 6 weeks of receiving the application, the committee can schedule interview within 2 weeks, during which it will facilitate meetings of family members of the donor and the recipient and conduct more than one interview. However, the entire process from submission to decision ought not to be ideally exceeded with 6 to 8 weeks. So what the court decided, the court made sure that in future cases, nobody is hampered due to the procedural formalities, and the procedure can be completed within 6 to 8 weeks. Now, let us move out to the national news of the day, where the squash to debut at Khelo India Youth Games. Now, squash will make its debut at the Youth Games with Khelo India Youth Games 2023, Tamil Nadu, to be held in Chennai, Madurai, Trichy, and Coimbatore. और ये कब होंगे? This will happen in January 19 to 31, 2024. This is the first time that the Khelo India Youth Games are being held in South India and will be played across the 4 states. Squash will make its debut in the Khelo India Youth Games 2023. Tamil Nadu, while state traditional sport Silambam will be the demo sport. तो याद रखिएगा squash का debut है, and जो state का traditional sport in Silambam, it will be a demo sport. ठीक है? तो ये एक होगा debut. Sorry. Modi UAE Prez hail rapidly transforming bilateral ties. So Prime Minister Narendra Modi and UAE President Mohammed bin Zayed Al Nahyan held a bilateral meeting on Tuesday and hailed the rapidly transforming India-UAE partnership. 4 MoUs were signed between India and UAE, in the presence of two leaders, including one between the Gujarat government and DP World and a multinational logistic company based in Dubai. This was the fourth meeting between Modi and Al Naya in less than 7 months. Up here we talked about UAE, so let us understand some facts about UAE. UAE की capital is Abu Dhabi, currency is United Arab Emirates Dirham, Prime Minister is Sheikh Mohammed Id Rashid Al Maktoum. ठीक है, and this is the flag of UAE. तो याद रखिएगा UAE का flag. A P-8 aircraft of Indian Navy arrived at Guam, USA to participate in a multilateral ASW exercise Sea Dragon 24. So, a P-8 aircraft of Indian Navy arrived at Guam, USA, to participate in the exercise Sea Dragon 24, the fourth edition of the coordinated multilateral ASW exercise for long-range MRASW aircraft conducted by US Navy. The exercise aims to achieve high level of synergy and coordination between friendly navies, which is based on their shared values and commitment to an open, inclusive Indo-Pacific. ठीक है? चलें. Music maestro Rashid Khan passes away after prolonged battle with cancer. So the celebrated music maestro Ustad Rashid Khan, undergoing treatment for prostate cancer at a hospital in Kolkata, passed away. He was 55-year-old artist, was on ventilator and was receiving oxygen support. He was born in Uttar Pradesh, who is also the nephew of Ustad Ghulam Mustafa Khan, received his initial training from his maternal granduncle Ustad Nisar Hussain Khan. Okay. At the age of 11, Rashid Khan delivered his debut concert, and in the consequent year, he graced the stage at ITC concert in Delhi. So he passed away after a prolonged battle with cancer. Ambassador Indra Mani Pandey assumes charge of BIMSTEC Secretary General. So Ambassador Indra Mani Pandey, a senior diplomat, assumed the position of Secretary General of the Bay of Bengal Initiative for Multi-Sectoral Technical and Economic Cooperation. BIMSTEC का full form समझिएगा, Bay of Bengal Initiative for Multi-Sectoral Technical and Economic Cooperation on Thursday in Dhaka. Pandey succeeded Tenzin Lekpal of Bhutan, is the fourth SG of BIMSTEC and will remain in office for a period of 3 years, said a press release issued by BIMSTEC Secretariat. ठीक है? He is a career diplomat. Ambassador Pandey joined the Indian Forest Service in 1990. Prior to taking over as Secretary General, he served as the permanent representative of India to the United Nations and other international organizations in Geneva. याद रखिएगा इनका अपॉइंटमेंट. Eknath Shinde faction is the real Shiv Sena. Uddhav Thackeray had no power to remove him. Maharashtra Speaker. So the Maharashtra Legislative Assembly Speaker Rahul Narvekar today held that Eknath Shinde-led faction was the real Shiv Sena when the rival faction emerged within the party on June 22nd. He has refused to disqualify any member from both the faction led by Shinde and Uddhav Thackeray. This is to enable intra-party dissent. To reach the conclusion, Speaker relied on 1999 Constitution of the party, which has diluted the power from the hands of the party chief. He revealed that the 2018 Constitution, which concentrated power in the hands of party chief, is not an election commission record and thus cannot be taken into account by him. So Eknath Shinde faction is the real Shiv Sena. Uddhav Thackeray had no power to remove him. This is the decision that has come up by the Maharashtra speaker named Rahul Narvekar. China launches new satellite for violent cosmic phenomena observation. So China sent a new astronomical satellite into space to observe mysterious transient phenomena in the universe which flicker like fireworks, trying to reveal more about this violent and little known side of cosmos. Satellite name is Eastern Probe, which uses new X-ray detection technology inspired by the functioning of lobster eye. Now the China capital is Beijing. Officially, People's Republic of China, we call. Head of government is Premier Li Qiang and currency is China Yuan Renminbi. So China Yuan Renminbi. and the flag of China is this. याद रखिएगा. It launches a new satellite for violent cosmic phenomena observation. Legal update की तरफ चलते हैं, which is coming from the Delhi High Court. True love between adolescents can't be controlled through police action. So Delhi High Court has observed that the true love between two individuals, one or both of whom may be minor or minors on the verge of majority, cannot be controlled through rigorous of law or state action. ठीक है? The scale that reflects and portrays such pure happiness, sans and criminality will definitely equal the scale carrying law, as the application of law is meant for maintaining rule of law. So याद रखिएगा, Justice Swarnakanta Sharma said that dilemma at times faced by court can be of trying to justify the state or police action against an adolescent couple who marry each other and continue to lead a peaceful life and raise a family and respect for obeying the law of land. And case का नाम इसमें disclose नहीं था. So there is no case name here. Now Supreme Court, a judgment coming from Supreme Court, if judicial service has to attract talent, working condition must offer security and dignity. So the court has said that for the recommendations of Second National Judicial Pay Commission, the Supreme Court emphasized the obligation of the state to provide dignified working conditions for judicial officer. The judgment stressed arduous working nature of judicial officer, pointing out their duties and extend beyond court hours and on weekend to perform administrative function, preparation before hearing, and writing of judgment. If the service of judiciary is to be viable career option so as to attract talent, condition of service, both for working and retired officers, must offer security and dignity. And the case name is All India Judge Association versus Union of India and another. आज के TNA के लिए इतना ही. That's all for today's TNA. If you want to revise 9th January 2024 TNA, do attempt the quiz link that is being mentioned in the description box. Thank you for watching. Take care.